Hello, welcome back to my garden here in Denmark. It's the 27th of February and this garden is located in a USDA Zone 7 equivalent here in Europe. We'll take a look at some of the garden projects that I've been completing since January. I've been weeding and I've been mulching and I've been pruning some of my trees and shrubs. So let's have a look. First things first, this is witch hazel Arnold Promise. You can get witch hazels in yellows, oranges and reds. And this one, Arnold Promise, will become quite tall. I believe it can become several meters high actually. I'm not sure if this particular plant will become that tall. I used to have this one in a container where I originally lived in an apartment. And hence it is actually quite a lot older than it looks. But it has adjusted quite well to the ground here and it has put on quite a lot of growth since then. So let's see how it goes. Witch hazel have these really nice looking flowers. This up here is one individual flower. Has these elongated petals and they have a scent to them, a honey sweet scent. But yeah, the thing is, of course, they flower here in winter time. This one started approximately in January, in January this year, and has been blooming here in February as well. And will bloom some of March, but will probably end its flowering in 14 days or so. That's my guess at least. It depends a lot on the weather. We've had a warm, really warm winter, and hence it started flowering so early. Moving along, this middle border, I have removed quite a few weeds. There were some dandelions, some thistles, and even a few one-year-old seedlings that were starting to appear. And what I did is I weeded all of those and then I mulched. And I did so, I actually started quite a few weeks ago, and then we were hit by a frost and I couldn't continue because my mulch turned into one giant ice cube. So I had to postpone the rest of the mulching, but now I've finished it. And I started really early because all of my tulips, due to this warm winter that we've had, very warm winter, all of these tulips were starting to appear. Even my alliums, you can see they appeared before the frost and then they got damaged a bit by the frost. So luckily I started my mulching before they got too tall, so most of this I managed to put in before the alliums really put on growth here. You can see even some of my perennials are starting out. It's really early, but yeah, who am I to complain? Let's see how it goes. If we have a frost, they will freeze back again. So let's see how March turns out. Moving further along, you'll notice that I have not mulched everywhere. I've not mulched around this Magnolia Susan right here. Magnolia Susan prefers acidic to neutral soil. And this mushroom compost quite often, mushroom compost is what I used. They quite often add lime to it. And if they didn't add lime, I believe it would be neutral in nature. And since this one prefers acidic or neutral soil, I don't want to put a lot of lime into the soil just around it, right? So that's the reason why. Now, why do I mulch? I mulch because it helps keep some of the moisture in if it gets really dry in summer or spring. Also, it suppresses weeds. Basically, you put this layer on top of all of your soil and sunlight won't get at the weeds. Also, this soil that I have here, in general at least, it's it contains quite a lot of clay, and it doesn't have a lot of or at least it didn't have a lot of organic matter in it to start with. and hence mushroom compost helps on my soil here. It gives it more structure, and of course it also fertilizes quite a lot. At least in the long run, when it breaks down, it fertilizes the soil quite a lot, and it will break down slowly over the next perhaps half a year to 9 months. It breaks down, and hence this is a compost. You can apply it every year. Just take a bit of care. For example, if you use it in a raised bed, don't make all of that raised bed mushroom compost. It's way too fertile. Things are not likely to grow in this if you use it like in 100% mix. Usually it will tell you on the back how much you should apply. I believe even half would be too much. I would say 10 to 20% perhaps could be mushroom compost. But watch out, because it will bring in phosphate as well. And you don't want too much phosphate, especially in a raised bed. You might risk bringing in too much. Here, where I apply it on top of my normal soil, I don't believe I'm in any real danger. I could probably apply quite a lot more than I've applied here. I've only applied like 4 to 5 centimeters down here. Down here is where my garden is really clayey. Further up there I have not applied as much, and that's simply because the soil is a lot better up there. Another task that I've completed in the garden, I completed that yesterday actually. I pruned my willow-leaved pear quite a lot. Now, if you prune a willow-leaved pear, I believe you're supposed to do it in winter. And this is the last month of winter here in Denmark. March is our official spring. And I've pruned this quite a lot. Let's see how it responds to it. I believe pruning in winter, it will probably shoot like crazy, because now it will have a lot of root compared to how much top it has. Now, why did I prune it so much? The branches of this pear were actually almost going down to the ground. It was touching the bench, and it was limiting. It was actually severely limiting my view into this border. I have these hydrangea pinaculatas sitting in there. But back to the pear, it was and it is the way this sort of pear grows, this willow-leaved pear. It is an ornamental pear, so I'm not going to lose any edible fruits. But it is the way it grows. It will hang a lot. It will have these branches that go downwards. Most of them, at least, will go downwards. And hence I've decided to simply raise the top of it quite a lot. Some of them did grow upwards, so those branches I've kept, while branches that were going downwards I've tried to remove. Let's see how it responds when summer arrives. Someone that also likes I've pruned my pear here is the cat. Pelsen. You are a crazy cat. Yeah, roughly translated, pelsen is basically fur, you know. Come on, pelsen. Behind my pond, I have quite a lot of Winter Aconites, or at least some right here. And what I wanted to show you is this. This, of course, is a flowering, nicely looking aconite. It's been here for quite a few years. Here is one without a flower. This one might be a 3-year-old winter aconite. This one is probably a 1st or 2nd-year-old aconite. And this one is one that would have fallen to the ground as a seed last year. They germinate 1 year after, and they look a lot like weeds. Moving along from the pond area, you'll notice, it took me quite a long time, even though I was mostly removing geraniums, some iris siberica leaves that had toppled over and become really wet and soggy, and so on. Most of it was really soggy. I didn't really encounter a lot of insects, and I believe that the insects still have enough plant to crawl into if they need something to hide in here during winter, right? So and perhaps it's because it's so warm already. Another thing I wanted to show you, my crocus. Wow, we have February. That is really early. Some of my crocus have not appeared yet, so I have some that are supposed to be early but not this early. So that is really early for crocus to appear. Also, another place that I've not mulched is this middle border that I am removing. At least I am going to remove some of it. That apple tree will stay, and you can sort of see where the mulch is starting, right around here. That is where I will re-establish the lawn. That has been a really long project, but now you can start and see why. Just look at all those bulbs. These are alliums. These are some crocus. These are, well, some unknowns in there as well. And of course, quite a lot of tulips. Some snowdrops as well. I can move those snowdrops out already, and I think I'll do so very soon. And so on. So all of those bulbs, and there are more appearing every day. I need to get those out of there as well as all of those perennials. So quite a lot of work in there. But yeah, ongoing project. It's been a really long project. I gotta admit, quite a lot longer than I expected. But that is sometimes how it is, right? And yeah, again, I cleaned up in this border. Still a lot of cleaning up to do in there, as I haven't removed most. I've removed all of that really wet and soggy dead foliage, but other than that, quite a lot of my perennials still have their tops on. I'll have to go in there and get that done quite soon though, because next week will actually be quite warm, really warm. We've sort of like, a week ago we had a frost, and we had that frost for probably 1.5 weeks and also on with both night and daytime frost. And now it's changed again, it's becoming really warm again. Another task that I've been working on is that I've been cleaning up in this elder right here. This is elder black lace. And what I've done is I've removed most of the dead stems. I only say most because I only just noticed there's a dead stem here. You can identify them. They usually have no bark or look as though they are about to lose all of their bark. That was a dead one as well. Pull that one out. Another thing that I've done to it in order to clean it up is that I've removed crossing stems as well. You'll notice here there has been a crossing stem that has been rubbing up against it in the wind, and those you want to take out because it will leave a scar. These scars will normally close up again, but scars in general can cause disease, so you don't want the branches to rub up against each other in the wind basically. I can see that there's still a few in there that do cross, and I will take those out as well. Some of the cleanup of this elder has been a little bit harder this year because there's a honeysuckle up here. This is honeysuckle, I believe it's called Henry. I covered it in the last video as well, and it's evergreen. At least here, for me this winter, it has been fully evergreen. And I think that, and we've had a really warm winter, but I've had this variety for a couple of years now, even when it was cold. So I think it at least keeps its leaves for the majority of winter, or for all of winter if you have a hot one or warm one. I think it has no scent though. That's the thing that it's lost in the hybridization. So that's of course unfortunate. They usually have a really nice scent, so that's quite a loss. But I think if you look at it, it looks really nice in this elder. Another project that I have completed is that I cleaned up around my Hellebore. It's a really nice looking Hellebore right there, and some more here. What I've done is I've removed all of the old foliage from these Hellebore. And why did I do that? They can sometimes contain infections like fungi and so on, and their leaves will become really ugly here in spring. They're old leaves from last year, and the recommendation is actually to remove those and put them in the trash so that they can be burned. So don't move those to the compost, at least you're not supposed to. Of course, if there are no fungi in there, they will happily compost. So it isn't that. It's only due to the risk of giving them a disease next year, basically. Also in there, you'll notice my other Magnolia. Also no mulch around that one. Again, the same issue. The mulch might contain lime. Also, yeah, let's just move through the border here. Usually I don't do that, but hey, I'm the owner, I'm allowed to, right? Oh, hello cat. In here I have my blueberries. I moved those last year. Again, blueberries, that is a plant that requires acidic soil. That's not just something that can be in neutral or prefers or something like that. Your soil around your blueberries should be acidic. And I am definitely not adding mushroom compost to those blueberries. They look really nice. I moved them last year, and I moved all of the soil with them. My natural soil here is not acidic, so I planted these in soil that is acidic. I dug out a hole for them. I moved them, and I moved all of the soil with them. That was quite a task accomplished last year. Yeah, this is still under construction down here, but yeah, eventually I am gonna remove this plastic, but right now it's really helpful in suppressing weeds. Another upcoming task relating to these blueberries is to fertilize them. And I always fertilize them here in spring. I've not done so yet. I'll probably hold off by around 14 days or so. But what you want is a fertilizer that is suited for acidic soil. And this will actually make soil more acidic. It contains sulfur, 24%, and as well as nitrate. The nitrate is basically the fertilizer, and the sulfur will make it more acidic. Or rather, in this border, because I am on soil that has quite a lot of lime in it, it will maintain the acidic level that this soil that I brought in has. Or at least that's what it's supposed to do. And hence that should ensure that I get a really nice crop of blueberry. Yeah, and that's it. Please subscribe, and thank you for watching. Yeah, bye bye.